Hi everyone, and welcome to the next class of Viewpoints, Enlightened Perception for a Peaceful Future. Yes, that's right, and today we are talking about, I think it's a really important issue, something called reality tunnels. We're going to tell you what reality tunnels are, how we create them, and how they shape how we see reality and the things that we talk about. So hold on tight, let's get going. So what are reality tunnels? Well, we've all got one. There was a famous thinker in the 60s and the 70s in California, a guy called Robert Anton Wilson. If you haven't heard of him before, check him out online. He was a cool dude. And he created this concept called reality tunnels. And the things that we're talking about on this series, we're all kind of talking about the same thing. And a reality tunnel is a good way of summing it up. So what is a reality tunnel? As you know, each of us has our own viewpoint, and the way that we see the world is shaped. So, as we've already covered in the last video, at any one point we are faced with millions of bits of information, light, sound, information, data. It's all coming at us at the same time, and it's just not possible for our nervous systems to be present to it all the time. There's so much going on around us, we have to focus on certain things, and we can only let in a certain amount of information. So as human beings, we are always filtering data. We're filtering what we can hear, we're filtering what we see, we're filtering on what we focus on, what our attention looks at. Everything is getting filtered, and we filter out automatically what's not important. And this process is happening all by itself. So everything that we say and everything that we think is based on our filtered viewpoint. It's only based on what we allow into our perception. And in order to filter information, not only do we focus on some things, but we ignore others. So everyone looks at reality differently. And you could say that each of us has our own reality tunnel. How does reality occur to us? If there were 10 people and they were all in the same situation, maybe they were all in an argument, each of them would report a different angle of that argument. Each of them would talk about it in a way that it occurred to them. And I reckon everyone's story would differ. Now, a lot of the time, the police force and police inspectors, when they're investigating a murder or a crime, what they notice is that there are different people in the same space, but they all report different facts. They report a different viewpoint. And a lot of them will have a totally different view. So everyone looks at reality through a different way, and that filtering process, we would call that a reality tunnel. And you have a unique reality tunnel, and I have a unique reality tunnel. And that's the most important thing to realize, is that when you're chatting to somebody else, they're looking at the situation in a different way to you. They value some things and not others, and you have different values. And that reality tunnel is very, very interesting, because what it means is that what we're experiencing isn't the truth. What we're experiencing is our perception of the truth. We're experiencing the truth filtered through our opinions, our views, our assumptions, and our values. And that is what a reality tunnel is. So there was a famous social psychologist, a guy called Jonathan Haidt, you might have heard of him, and he created this thing called moral foundations theory. And what that basically means is that all humans, we have different values. Some of us value liberty and freedom. Some of us value authority. Some of us value equality or fairness. Others might just want to reduce harm and suffering. So each of us have different values. We rank those values accordingly. And when we look at reality, we interpret reality through our values. So what I focus on, for example, for me, fairness and freedom is very important. So that's what I might focus on, whereas somebody else might focus on harm reduction. Everyone looks at things differently through their own values. So that's why you can have two views that both have merit. So when we look at reality, most of the time our opinions are really guesses, they're inferences. They're what we suspect, they're how things occur to us, how they seem to us through our nervous system. Now there's this wonderful approach called family systems therapy, And in it, they look at the way that we filter information. They call it something called social graces. So for example, how does my reality system get formed? Well, let's look at my education. Maybe I had a particular education history that shaped how I see reality. Maybe I was brought up in a particular way. Maybe how my parents brought me up shapes how I see reality. Maybe my hobbies and interests shape how I see reality. Maybe the beliefs that I was taught at school and by my parents shape my view and my reality tunnel. Maybe my body and how I look, my physical beauty and how I feel about myself, maybe that shapes how I see reality. Another big one is our location. For example, in the UK, we're an island in comparison to maybe a country like Holland, which is surrounded by, many different countries. Our geographical location can shape how we see reality, how we see the world. It can shape our perception. For example, in America, many people don't leave the US. Many people don't even have a passport. And why would you want to have a passport when you've got all those incredible locations to visit? Beautiful coastline, beautiful mountains, great skiing, great weather. So our past, our experiences, our beliefs shape how we see reality. Now let's dig into it a little bit more. Think about your reality tunnel. How is your view shaped by your current life? What newspapers do you read? Where do you get your information from? Somebody who reads the New York Times is going to have a different reality tunnel to someone who watches Fox News. Somebody who is involved in alternative media is going to have a different view to somebody who watches the BBC. So our reality tunnel is shaped by the news media sources and journalists that we follow. And that's where this kind of term echo chambers come from, where people, for example, will be on Facebook or on Twitter and they just follow people that they like. So you can see that your reality tunnel begins to form. And your reality tunnel is shaped also by your hobbies and the TV shows that you watch and the music that you listen to, the books that you read. So when someone tells you their opinion, they're telling you more about them than the things they're talking about. When someone tells you how they see reality, you are seeing how they see reality. You're beginning to understand their reality tunnel. And that's really the conversation to be had, is how are we making sense of this? How did you form your reality tunnel? Because by very nature, the way a reality tunnel works is it has to ignore a load of information while focusing on other stuff. So if you can find out what your reality tunnel is missing, you can get a better sense of what's going on. So if you want to create a different reality tunnel, here's a tip. Maybe go onto Twitter and follow a load of random people from different industries. People from different sides of the fence, people that have totally different opinions to you, and maybe follow things that aren't that interesting for you. Maybe you're really interested in racing cars. Maybe start following accounts about agriculture. Maybe you're interested in one type of politics. Maybe focus other thinkers from a different perspective. That's how you shape your reality tunnel. Start looking for parts of your opinion that are missing. Can you start getting any different data points? And as you start becoming open to different data points, then your reality tunnel can shift. And as you shift it, you begin to see different things. That's how it works. So your reality tunnel is malleable. It's not set. The most important thing to realize is, firstly, you have one. And what you see is your interpretation of reality. That's it. And no human will ever be able to step out of that interpretation. But what we can do is improve our map, improve our reality tunnel, so that we can see more clearly. What we can really try to do is to be more present and ask better questions about our reality tunnels. Ask better questions to see can we improve them? Can we be less wrong? Can we make better guesses? Can we make better assumptions? Because nobody has a universal book of truth. You don't have it and I don't have it. And that's why it's important to have an element of doubt, an element of reserving judgment when we talk, because we don't know for sure what we're talking about. We can only guess. So guys, that's reality tunnels. I hope that's clear. And we're going to be talking more about reality tunnels as we go on the course. So I'll see you later. Bye.